Today we have 6 potential 76ers trade targets, 3 according to a recent report, but also 3 of my own that I think would make a whole lot of sense for this team. But the question is, should they even make a trade? Will they make a trade? We'll discuss all of it here on Philly Take with RB, but welcome into the show. I am RB, and I have a question for you. I want your input down in the comment section below. Who should the 76ers trade for? We are under a month away from the trade deadline. Who should they go get? Who are your top targets? Should they trade anybody from their own team? Give me your thoughts down below. And before we get into the report and all of the trade targets, got to let you know, this one is brought to you by Mando. Listen, man, the 76ers definitely used their Mando this season because last year they stunk. Don't be like the 2024 76ers. We're going into 2026. And you want to bring something into the new year, man, a New Year's resolution. How about the Mando? You got the 2-in-1 solid stick deodorant plus the sweat control multi-purpose. You also have the spray deodorant for on the go. I love the bourbon leather, a very calm, unique, smooth smell. But you also have the Mount Fuji and a lot of other great smells. So definitely check those out. The Mando is a whole body deodorant, can use it anywhere. And it controls sweat and odor for up to 72 hours. And after 12 hours of taking a shower, the average man's grundle odor is a 5 out of 10. But according to the Mando clinical studies, that was reduced to a 0 out of 10 with the Mando. This is deodorant powered by mandelic acid, engineered to stop odor before it starts. If you're someone who sweats a lot, it is perfect for you. And they are currently America's #1 whole body deodorant formula, available in Walmart, Target, and other retailers across the country. But for the best deals, go to shopmando.com. And if you want to get the job done right, use our code PhillyTake5. New customers can get 20% off site-wide plus free shipping. Use our exclusive code PhillyTake5. Support our show. Let them know we sent you over at shopmando.com. Say goodbye to sweat stains and hello to long-lasting freshness. Speaking of being fresh, man, the 76ers roster might need a little freshening up at the deadline. So who will they go out and get? What will Daryl Morey do? Well, we have a report. It has been a quiet trade deadline season. Trae Young got dealt. Now we're starting to get some more names. Jonathan Kuminga demanded a trade today. But here is what Brett Siegel said a few days ago about 76ers trade targets right now. He says Keon Ellis, Jay Huff, and Duop Reef are 3 small contract players worth keeping an eye on for the 76ers as the trade deadline approaches. So before we talk about each of these players, I think it's important to understand the philosophy of the 76ers and what they like to do. And if you are a Sixers fan, or maybe you're a newer Sixers fan, unfortunately, Josh Harris, their owner, likes to duck the luxury tax every February. This year, the luxury tax line is about $187.9 million. And if we look at the 76ers cap table right now, they are currently $1 million under the first apron. They are $12.9 million under the second apron. And a lot of you might be like, well, what does that mean? Obviously, it gets very complicated with the new CBA. But what you need to know is that their current cap allocations sit at $194.9 million. So let's just say roughly, I don't know, $7 million they are above the luxury tax line right now. They want to get below that. Why? Because Josh Harris and the ownership does not want to pay tax. And if they don't believe that they are going to be a championship squad, they're going to try to get below that number like they do every year, right? Last year we saw it with Caleb Martin. They've done it with Matisse Thybulle before, Pat Bev a couple years ago, Marcus Morris. So that's just their strategy. It sucks, but it is what it is for right now. Anyway, we look at the 76ers cap table. So if they want to get off of $7 million of salary, what's the best way to do it? They're not trading any of the big 3 right now. I mean, at least I don't think they are. Not trading VJ. Grimes has a no trade clause, so they can't trade him unless he wants to. And Kelly Oubre right now, 8.3. They could trade Kelly. Andre Drummond, I think, is the more likely trade player here, right? $5 million. And then on top of that, they could either trade Kyle Lowry or Eric Gordon. That would put them above the $7 million they want to get off. And they could get below that tax line as long as they don't take in, I think, like $1.5 million back. So that would also allow them to convert Dominic Barlow and Jabari Walker to standard contracts. Those guys are on 2 ways, So eventually they're going to have to convert them over. But anyway, that takes us back to this report. The 76ers want to add probably players in the margins if they do anything at the trade deadline. Do they need to? I mean, we're starting to see the vision of what the full team looks like together. And I don't think they're going to trade any of the big three because Daryl Morey wants to keep his job. He wants to contend. They don't want to go backwards. They don't want to rebuild right now. So we're starting to finally see what it looks like. And I think where they need to add is in the margins, particularly in my opinion right now for a bench scoring piece, because Jared McCain has not looked that good this season. I will give you my three at the end, which I think could be better candidates, so stick around. But Jay Huff, okay, this guy's played 41 games this year. He has started 22 for the Pacers, and the Pacers are in the dumps right now. He is averaging 8.4 points a game, 3.7 boards, 1.3 assists. He's blocking 2.1 shots per game, which is pretty fantastic for a guy, if you remember, when he was with Memphis last year. If you remember, he absolutely cooked the 76ers, didn't do much elsewise, but Jay Huff has transformed himself into a pretty good big. I mean, he's a bit athletic as well, as you can see, according to his shot blocking numbers. I feel like he's also a guy that could play some of the four. He can kind of stretch the floor. This year, he's only shooting 31% from three, but last year he shot 40.5%. So maybe you could play him at the four as well, or bring him in off the bench as that backup five. You look at his cap sheet right now. You also have him under control for next year. If you trade for him 2.3 and then 2.6 next year, which honestly is great financial cap logistics there. So I think the 76ers should be interested in a guy like Jay Huff. I think he brings multiple elements of what the 76ers need right now, and I think he will have some suitors at the trade deadline. The next guy is Keon Ellis, who everybody has been fascinated with for years now. Keon Ellis this year is playing 17 minutes a game, only averaging 5.3 points, 1.3 boards, 0.6 assists, and he is shooting 35.7% from three. Last year, he shot 43% from three, and his numbers were way better. The Kings are a disaster, and I feel like people can't really figure out what's going on with this guy. You see, he has the tangible skills, but can he actually translate it consistently over a big stretch of games? He is on the final year of his deal with a club option, $2.3 million. So it would be another cheap get. He's a bit of a lengthier guard, right? A guy who could kind of fit in with the mold of this team, like one of those gritty two-way guards that could come right in off the bench and provide some scoring, hopefully. I mean, he would have to play a lot better than he is right now. But I also think it's a bit of a gamble because, again, if this is going to be your trade deadline guy, you have to really get that production out of him. So Keon Ellis is another guy to keep your eyes on. I feel like he's in trade talks every year and never gets moved. And the last guy is Duop Reith, who is averaging 2.8 points per game in 7.6 minutes, 1 rebound, and 0.3 assists. I'm not really interested here. If you're going to trade Bona or Drummond, what's the point in getting a guy that hasn't really developed into that next step? But that takes me to my other trade targets, 3 guys that I personally believe would be much better options that are not mentioned here. The first guy that I think the 76ers should really look into is Colin Sexton. As it says here, he's on a $19 million expiring contract, has been one of the better reserves in the NBA. He's averaging 14.9 points per game, shooting 50% from the field, 46% from three. And if we look at Colin Sexton, I mean, his numbers over his career are pretty good. I mean, I feel like he's been in a ton of different situations. He could be that perfect sixth man off the bench that we have been wanting to see consistently from Quentin Grimes and Jared McCain. Based on how McCain looks right now, especially when this team gets to the postseason, if they do, they're going to need that punch off the bench. I feel like I've been saying that every year. We saw it at the beginning of the year, right? The way Grimes was playing every game. And I just don't think that he's going to really live up to what we thought he would be. You know, maybe he'll get paid elsewhere after this season. I'm glad Morey didn't pay him. But Colin Sexton could be that guy, and he's on an expiring contract, so I think it makes a lot of sense. Now, I'm not going to really dive into what it would take to get these guys, right? Most of them, it would probably take a couple picks. I feel like teams are really valuing draft capital right now, so who knows what it'll take. Sexton will have a lot of suitors, but he has been an absolute sniper this season. The next guy I think the 76ers should look into is Benedict Mathurin. The Pacers have had a disaster of a year. Essentially, they're taking a gap year, trying to get a high pick, waiting for Halliburton to come back. And Mathurin is in a sticky situation right now. After losing Miles Turner in free agency, Indiana is looking for potential centers in the market right now via trade, and Mathurin has an expiring $9.2 million contract, which could make him a trade asset. So we look at Benedict Mathurin, and his numbers have been pretty good over the years. This year, he's averaging 17.8 points per game in 24 starts, playing about 32 minutes a game, and he is shooting 36% from three. A guy that can put it on the floor, a guy that can knock down shots at a high clip, and again, can just be like that microwave scorer that this team needs. You play him 25 minutes off the bench, and I think he would be a perfect complement next to Quentin Grimes. He's also averaging 5.5 boards per game, which kind of goes with that theme of the Sixers guard rotation right now. Guys that can do different things, can rebound the ball and dime it out to teammates and all that stuff. Definitely brings a bit of a swagger as well. He's always had that attitude and was on a team that made the finals last year, so I definitely like Benedict Mathurin. And last but not least, the breakout for the Denver Nuggets, Peyton Watson. The Sixers saw him a little while ago, and obviously that was a huge upset by the Nuggets, but Watson played really well, and this season is kind of his breakout year. Perfect time for him to do it. He is in a contract year. He's playing 29 minutes per game, averaging 13.8 points per game, 5 boards, 1.8 assists, 1 steal, and 1 block. He's also taken a huge leap in shooting this year, averaging 40.8% from 3. He is a guy that can do it on both ends of the floor. He's still very young. I think he's in his early 20s, and he is on a $4.3 million expiring contract. So he's going to get paid. I think this could end up being a guy that you trade for, and he ends up becoming a building block. He's not going to be a star, but certainly a really qualified role player in your rotation. And we've already heard what Denver said this past offseason about some of their current core, right? They're not going to be able to keep everybody. An extension for Watson would probably push them into a bit of cap trouble. So I could absolutely see the Nuggets looking to move on from Peyton Watson, trying to get a few draft assets in return, maybe try to draft a couple more Peyton Watsons. If that is the case, the 76ers should definitely look into this. So that is where we are at. What should the 76ers do? Who should they go out and get? Who should they trade away? The trade deadline always gets very interesting. We are a few weeks away. Give me your thoughts down below. Appreciate everybody for tapping in. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. That being said, I will catch you on the next one. Peace.